12 o'clock. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Starr Midday News. And coming up in the bulletin, Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam arrives in Parliament to finally present the mini budget after prolonged delays. Will be live in Parliament shortly. Also in the bulletin, hundreds of traders begin counting their losses as Ghana National Fire Service brings inferno at Kantamanto Market under control.
I have a holiday. You call holidays 3 days. Be from 24th near call holidays. Obi anyhow. But midnight is not happy and happy area.
But Uber G loan. I know what Bressa ye bibi. Not Daku Pekupe. Not BBF films.
We'll be live with the Ghana National Fire Service, which is crying for help as it says it is ill-resourced to deal with such fires. Let's move on to other stories. The Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana declares indefinite strike effective today over government's failure to address long-standing grievances despite multiple engagements and arbitration awards.
It's still the same old issues that have not been resolved. That is the migration and then the all year round compensation as well as top-up book and research allowance.
Details of these stories and many more, including sports, are coming up in the next 30 minutes. Stay tuned in. Starr News is coming to you live on Ultimate 106.9 FM in Kumasi, Empire 102.7 FM in Takrady, Zeps 95.9 FM in Zebila, Nissim 100.1 FM in Lamshao, MyStar Radio in the USA. Also live on Facebook on Starr 103.5 FM and on starfm.com.gh around the world. This is Starr 103.5 FM. Starr News. Informed, in depth, in touch. You're welcome once again to the Starr Midday News on Starr 103.5 FM, and we'll start off in Parliament. My name is Nadidi Tete. After weeks of delays, Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam has finally showed up in Parliament. It is the first time since the NPP's defeat at the polls. Now, Dr. Amin Adam is expected to kickstart the processes towards the approval of 68 million Ghana cedis expenditure in advance of appropriation. The expenditure in advance of appropriation and outstanding parliamentary business is crucial to ensuring that Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Ibrahim Al-Hassan for more on this. So, Ibrahim, as we know it, the Finance Minister has finally arrived. What is to be expected next?
Well, so just a piece of paper that is to be moved by way of a motion, after which a referral will be made to the appropriate committee, budget committee, committee on finance. Then they get into the nitty-gritties of the proposal or the request for allocation of over 68 billion Ghana cedis to be spent for the next 3 months. A report will be prepared. That report will be brought back to the plenary, which will be approved, and in essence will mean that the government shutdown that has actually taken place, because now as we speak, the president of the land, his finance minister, cannot spend from the consolidated fund because the Appropriation Act passed last year expired on the 31st of December last year. And so that is what government is racing against time to address until the official handing over on January 7th. Now,
we know that the opposition NDC, now the government in waiting, did serve notice that if this expenditure in advance of appropriation was not presented by the finance minister, they were going to make the incoming Vice President Jane Anna Opoku-Agyeman do that after her swearing in. Are they in the chamber, and what has been their reaction since the arrival of the finance minister?
Well, right after that indication was given by Dr. Kesela to Forsen, Alexander Kwame Markin, the majority leader, indicated that his side, and for that matter, the finance minister, was ready to present the mini budget whenever the House reconvened, and that the majority side was not in support of the decision by the Speaker to send MPs home to go and celebrate Christmas that early and ask them to return today. But of course, in between, during the holidays, we got indication that the president, and for that matter, this government, doesn't want this to go in history, that for the first time in the fourth Republican dispensation, not only have we recorded a government shutdown, but the government, outgoing government, the NPP administration, the another administration, is hesitant without having presented the mini budget. And so the finance minister was willing to today turn up here and do the needful, regardless of the outstanding issues that they had wanted the House to consider in addition to the expenditure in advance of appropriation. So the minority side had always known that the finance minister will show up eventually to do the needful, but just in case he didn't, that's how come they made that assertion that Professor Nana Jenopokrajiman, after swearing in on January 7th, will show up and do the needful.
And what else has been happening prior to the arrival of the finance minister on the floor of Parliament?
Well, so Parliament, through the clerk, engaged the media and then indicated what exactly is to be expected on the 6th of January, which will be the date that this 8th Parliament that we are looking at will be expiring. Now, indication is that all is well with the transition teams, all is well with Parliament here, and that come 11 p.m. On January 6th, members of Parliament for the 9th Parliament are expected here. And then also, the registration will start today. So as we speak, members of Parliament elected for the 9th Parliament are expected to engage or undertake an online registration. Subsequently, they will show up physically to complete their registration process. And then on the 6th of January, they will show up. And then election of the Speaker will take place for the 9th Parliament. So the indication given by Parliament through the clerk, the new clerk, Ebenezer Jetro, is that all is well and the House is ready for the transition period between the 8th Parliament and then the 9th Parliament. So that's it for Parliament here. But of course, there are other happenings relative to the Mensia North MP, former Mensia North MP, Colin Samankwa, who has taken it up upon himself and then a committee that he leads to ensure that this ritual of every time there's a change in government, some businessmen will have to run for cover, becomes a thing of the past. And he singles out Daniel Macaulay, McDan, and then also Raymond Acha, who's a member of the incoming administration's oral team. That in the past, Raymond Acha is on record to have said that McDan should pray, and I'm quoting, that MPP stays in power forever. To him, to Colin Mankwa, once Raymond Acha had mentioned that but Daniel Macaulay should pray that the MPP stayed in power forever. Now that power has changed hands, he thinks that there might be some level of victimization on the part of the oral team, of which Raymond Acha is part. And the indication is given is that he and the group that he leads, that's the Committee for Public Accountability, will ensure that no businessman is victimized. Even if there's a need for the group to go to court, that's exactly what will happen.
Mention Raymond Acha's name because he is on record to have made those pronouncements that someone should pray that his party, a businessman should pray that his party stays in power forever. I mean, this is uncalled for in the first place. What from this statement? It's un-Ghanaian. So is he saying that now his party is in power and therefore something that he condemned some time back now is right for us to pursue? Is that what he's telling some of us? I mean, they should credit some of us with some level of intelligence in this country. You can't use such platform to manipulate, to maneuver your way. No way. We are growing a democracy, and it behooves on you and I to ensure that things are done properly in this country. Yes, because we are growing. Our young democracy is growing. And if we condemn it yesterday, why should we entertain it today? I don't subscribe to witch hunting. I don't subscribe to things that undermine others' effort from flourishing. So please, I'm not saying the entire members. I was specific on Mr. Raymond Nacha, your colleague journalist and a business person, that we are sick and tired of such utterances. Ghana first. We must support the business community to thrive so that the young people of this country will have jobs, decent jobs to do, to make ends meet. Thank you.
You had the executive chairman of the Pressure Group Committee for Public Accountability, Collins Amankwa, speaking there to our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent, Ibrahim Al Hassan. Let's turn our attention to one of the most topical news items today, and hundreds of traders at Ghana's largest second-hand clothing market, Kantamanto, have begun counting their losses as the Ghana National Fire Service finally brings or puts out the raging inferno. Now, the fire, which began at about 1 a.m. today, has completely razed all stalls at the second-hand market, sparking allegations of possible arson. Well, Starr News' Calvin Ahlija Powell was at the market and comes through with this report.
The biggest second-hand clothing market in Ghana is completely razed down by the inferno, which is to have started 1 a.m. at the dawn of the 2nd of January 2025. And in your shot are some traders who are trying to, gather the remains of their stalls that contain the bales that they sell here. They are just gathering the roofing sheet. I can report to you that every single wooden structure that they ply their teeth under here at the Kantamanto is completely razed down. Some couldn't even salvage a pin. It is a pathetic sight right here. People are mourning their losses, running into thousands and millions of Ghana cedis. There have been a report of some persons bent and are currently at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital receiving treatment. There were no active fire hydrants here, and even access route is a problem, looking at how cluttered the environment is. And from the rail station down to the Ghana Commercial Bank, there is nothing that represents Kantamanto. So let me quickly engage some traders here as to how they are holding up in terms of the losses that they've incurred, and also what they think could be the cause of the fire. Alex Nate, I must add that some people are saying it was out of arson, but he disputed that claim, saying that the fire service is yet to open investigation as to the cause, and until that is established, they won't be able to lend credence to the fact that people are saying it was out of arson. So that is the situation right here. It's quite pathetic. A lot of people have lost their items, and let me just engage them to find out how they are doing with the situation right here.
More than 10 machines has been burnt inside. More than 10, knitting, double, overlock, embroidery, series of them like that. So we can't just do anything about it. Well, majority of us, we were not in the market, so we only heard call. By the time we come, in fact, everywhere has been blocked up, flames, fire.
At the time, I'm afraid, around 3 o'clock, I heard, you buy and son can be here. Because any general city, I want to me, I want to me, and Yasha mining in a day. Ashe. It is any man, Yaman for Abocapa, Aboca. A general city, you'll be to me for Bibia, near diabetes, for Bibia. And I can't man to share, so will be who be being so a free back. Netem Bian, Hashi, who so bit Macassi, say, never can't will a gas, and so gas, no gas and quantity means she's I never will say 2022 or so. Hashi the same thing, but wait, she went there, I share. I can't even be 22 of a Hashi, when so.
As a matter of fact, I was home when I received the call around 11 thereabouts, and then I got here by 12:05. But when we got here, the fire was really destroying things, so we had no other option than to call the fire service.
Ghana hano nipa dudu ewo hano e kire say more than half newo Katamanto ha enti Katamanto ha ya de a
Powell, in relation to the fire at the Cantamanto markets, Ghana's biggest second-hand trading market. And we will be hearing from the Ghana National Fire Service in relation to this particular outbreak. Beyond, expressing concerns about the latest incidents, they are also lamenting the lack of equipment and the fear that a possible, should there be another fire outbreak of this magnitude anytime soon, they may not be able to be in the position to douse or deal with the flames because of the current situation they find themselves in the at the Ghana National Fire Service. We will be hearing from Alex King-Nate, who is a spokesperson of the National Fire Service here in Ghana. It's still the Star Midday News on Star 103.5 FM. Star News is coming to you live on Ultimate 106.9 FM in Kumasi, Empire 102.7 FM in Takrady, Zeps 95.9 FM in Zebila, Nissim 100.1 FM in Lamshao, My Star Radio in the USA. Also live on Facebook on Star 103.5 FM and on starfm.com.gh around the world. This is Star 103.5 FM. Star News. Informed, in depth, in touch. You're welcome back. You're still listening to the Star Midday News on Star 103.5 FM. Let's go live over the telephone line and speak to Alex King-Nate. He is one of the spokespersons of the Ghana National Fire Service for an update on the situation. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you very much for joining us here on the Star Midday News.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you're well.
Yes, but I'm well.
Okay, so can you let us understand, at what time really did this fire outbreak start?
Well, we were able to see our officers at Makola. I saw smoke in the air, sensing that there might be fire somewhere. So they had to try and make a move towards the way to try and look for the fire. So upon trying to proceed to the fire, then they were approached by someone on a motorbike about the fire. So around 1:18, that's when they stopped to go to the fire scene and arrived at 1:20. So upon arrival, they realized that the fire was well alive, in fact, ready. So they had to call for reinforcement. So by the end of the day, we ended up having 13 fire tenders responding to the fire, and we've been able to put the fire well under control and out of danger.
When you say that you've been able to put it under control, I want some clarity. Has it been completely doused, or at the moment, what is left of it is not threatening?
What is left of it is not threatening at all. In fact, we've been able to. We wouldn't want to say that we've totally extinguished it here, because we have what we call salvaging. That means that we are looking through the items, making sure that there's no room for reignition of the fire. So that is what we are doing now, and I'm hopeful and confident that by close of day today, we should have been able to totally extinguish the fire.
Now, we recorded a number of fire incidents at the Cantamanto market, to be specific. From what we understand, this one seems to be on a very large scale. It appears as though the whole place has been razed down. Is that what it is?
Yes, this is much more large scale and it's much more troubling. We are still investigating to know how come this one got to that level and became a very worrisome situation for us. So we are on top of our games. Despite the fact that over 100 shops or stores got damaged, there were buildings out a lot of shops that were able to contain or salvage from the fire, and that one is much greater than what got damaged because the bank, Ghana Commercial Bank, was very close. The commercial bank had a big standby generator plant. It had a fuel tank, a diesel tanker that that was also just there. That could have caused a very huge catastrophe if we had not handled it well. The damages, trust me, the salvage is my far greater.
And how difficult was it for the service to put out or douse the flames?
Well, it was difficult because accessibility was curtailed. The lack of functioning fire hydrants was a key problem because then we had to move all the way from the fire scene at Cantamanto to go to Circle, GRE to go and replenish. And we know the traffic situation around this time at the Central Business District. It wasn't an easy task for us to be able to navigate through. So it was a daunting task, but nothing is beyond that. And even I think around 10 o'clock or 9, we were able to finally put the fire under control.
You are also expressing concerns that you as a service you are facing a series of challenges, and if those are not rectified, dousing flames of this magnitude, should it recur anytime soon, may be difficult. What exactly are those difficulties?
Well, the fact that we don't have enough fire tenders to be able to tackle fire issues becomes a problem because with today's fire, for instance, we have to marshal almost all the fire tenders in Accra to be able to go and fight this fire. We marshaled over 10 fire tenders in Accra, leaving just about 2 fire tenders, that's Anya and Ajin Kotoku, to fight other fires that might have come in Accra. Mind you, we have to dispatch our tenders even from Jubilee House and also from Parliament, all to the scene at Makola. So moving forward, if much more investment is made into the fire service, we should be able to have many more fire so that in the case where there's multiple fires that are fully developed or serious fires, we should be working to handle all these fires at a go.
Now, I know that it's early days yet. Any indications in terms of the preliminary information you have picked up as to what could have caused this?
Well, the market traders are pointing out arson. We don't want to confirm or rule it out. It's a possibility, but then again, we don't want to be comfortable with that assertion. So we are looking at it. It might be electrical faults. It might be indiscriminate burning. It might be improper disposal of cigarette butts. It could be anything. So we are looking at all other options to make sure that we come up with a conclusive investigation.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to us. We're grateful for your time.
Thank you, sir.
You had us speak to Alex King Nati. He is a spokesperson of the Ghana National Fire Service, ADO1, Alex King Nati, Public Relations Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service. You're still listening to the Star Midday News on Star 103.5 FM. Let's now turn our attention to issues relating to labor. And I'm sure many Ghanaians are quite familiar with this particular association. Well, the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, CTAG, has announced an indefinite strike starting today. This decision comes after government's failure to address long-standing grievances despite multiple engagements in arbitration awards. Now, in a statement signed by the National President, Maxwell Bono Tuto, and National Secretary Fidelis Kamai of CTAG, they expressed frustration over government's continued violation of signed agreements and delays in implementing arbitration awards issued by the National Labour Commission. The union says that efforts to resolve the issues through dialogue have proven futile, leaving them with no choice but to embark on the to take this drastic step. Let's hear from the National Secretary of the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, CTAG, Fidelis Kimai, speaking briefly to us earlier.
It's still the same old issues that have not been resolved. That is the migration and then the all year round compensation as well as top up book and research allowance.
You're listening to the Star Midday News on Star 103.5 FM. Time now to bring you the very latest in the world of sports. Christian is here. Good afternoon to you, Christian. What is in sports?
Good afternoon. Now in sports this afternoon, the Ghana Premier League ushers in 2025 with an exciting lineup of fixtures spanning all 9 centers across the country this weekend. This action kicks off on Friday, January 3rd, with a capital derby as Hasselfolk welcome bottom place Legon Cities to the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. Now on Saturday, third place Gold Stars FC takes on Brekum Chelsea at the Dance Park in BBN in what promises to be a tightly contested encounter. However, on Sunday steps up as the bulk of weekend's matches, headline by a clash between defending champions Mediama SC and Asante Kotoko at the TNA Sports Stadium in Takwa. Meanwhile, league leaders Hearts of Lions face a stern test as they visit informed Betim United and Diabo Park. In other Sunday fixtures, Nations FC host Basake Holy Stars in Abrankesi, while Young Apostles battle Karela United in Wenchi. Vision FC welcome in Man FC to the Nia J. Kirku, the second sports complex. Now, FC Samates travel to Doma to face Diana FC, and Dreams FC play Accra Lions at the Tuba AstroTurfs. Now, on to some international stories. Arsenal forward Gabriel Jesus has been on fire lately with a stunning 6 goals in his last 4 matches across all competition after a period of struggling for consistency. Now, Jesus seems to have found his rhythm again, delivering key goals that have helped his side maintain momentum in their pursuit of silverware this season. Now, when asked about his change in form, Jesus revealed that a combination of hard work and patience were the key factors behind his resurgence.
I think keep working, everyone at the club can tell you guys how I work every day, not just me, everyone, but me personally, I don't give up, I always try. Obviously it's not easy, to play for a big club like Arsenal, but like I said, I was playing good when I had the chance, but I was scoring, but now I think I can score, and then I could score, and then I'm very happy, and I want to keep scoring to help the team.
Now, former Manchester United defender Rio Ferdinand has blamed the current crisis at his former club on head warnings from former interim boss Ralph Rangnick in 2022. Rangnick was hired as an interim manager in the 2021-2022 season after the sacking of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. During his time in charge, he claimed that United required open heart surgery as they attempted to rebuild. The comments were made in the wake of a 4-0 thumping against Liverpool, who they against this weekend amidst a horror run that has seen them with just one of their last 5 games. Now, speaking on Rio Ferdinand's presence, the former United captain admitted that Ralph Rangnick's claim has been proved right.
Ralph Rangnick said this needs open heart surgery, not a quick fix. Open heart surgery it needs. He weren't wrong. How true are those words ringing now? How true are those words ringing now? He was vilified, he was ridiculed when he said those words. Oh, he's overcooking it. He was so right. And I think Amorim would sit there and behind closed doors would be saying the same thing. And he said it. He said, our club needs a shock. He didn't go as far as saying it needs open heart surgery, but he went, our club needs a shock. We have to understand that it's very difficult, this moment, and we have to fight. Yes, they have to fight. They have to show a little bit of desire. They have to show that grit and determination. But without a structure, without an idea of how to play as a team, as a collective, doesn't matter how much fight you have, you're going to be second to every ball. You're going to be too late to get to anywhere to close anybody down. I saw some of the clips yesterday, and I'm looking at it and going, we don't know how to press. We don't know when to press. We don't know who's going to go. The back 3 centre halves at times, and as a back 5 at times as well. The side areas of, next to Casemiro and Eriksen, the big spaces are there. We knew that before the game.
Right. So this is sports this afternoon. Back to you, Nadide.
Thank you very much, Christian Kwashi. for joining us for the very latest in the world. This is your very first sports presentation for the year 2025.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. It can only get better.
Oh,
all
yes.
right?
Yeah, sure.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much, Christian, for bringing us the very latest in the world of sports. Now, just before we go, let's bring you some politics-related stories, especially the aftermath of the 2024 elections. Well, former national chairman of the governing New Patriotic Party, Freddie Wasimeu has expressed surprise at the disastrous outcome of the 2024 general election. Now, it comes after the Electoral Commission declared John Dramani Mahama as a president-elect with some 6,328,397 votes, marking some 56.55% of valid votes cast. Mahama defeated his main opponent, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is also the vice president and the flag bearer of the governing New Patriotic Party, who garnered 4,657,308 votes, representing some 41.61%. Was speaking to GH1 TV's and Starr FM's Lily Mohammed, Mr. Freddie Blay said he was shocked at the results. Have a listen.
We are not happy, but that's a decision of the electorate, the Ghanaian public. We've got to come to terms with that.
Did the defeat surprise you, and what aspect of it surprised you?
Of course, it's surprising. I would say that the government and another Dankwa Akufo-Addo was doing very well in terms of handling the economy, in terms of good governance, in terms of establishing peace in this country, and severe challenges. We were coming out of the woods, economy that went down in terms of GDP to less than 2%. A couple of months ago, it was 7.2, maybe even going higher. And we think definitely, in spite of all the challenges, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government, as the MPP government, was doing well for this country. And we're convinced that the elections would turn out. It was difficult, but we thought we could come out still tops. Unfortunately, what we were not expecting happened.
Was that your reality or the reality of a number of people in your party? Because we have had some members of your party, some stalwarts even say that, listen, the economy was not going well. Were you not living in the reality of everybody? Did you fail to answer the question on the economy?
Lily, that's what I've just told you. That in terms of managing the economy, it's part of the previous challenges. We mention always, we emphasize, although some people would prefer to ignore it, that the COVID pandemic did a big disservice not only to our economy, but quite a number of economies in the world. Irrespective of that, in spite of that, just this year, the last quarter, the economy had risen to 7.2. That, to me, if you won't consider that or won't regard that as a miracle, we've come out of it. And we know that things were getting better.
Was it not because we had some cushion from the International Monetary Fund?
No, that's not the case.
You had the former national chairman of the governing New Patriotic Party, Freddie Wasimeu, speaking to GH1 and Star News' Lily Mohammed. And that'll be it for today's edition of the Star Midday News. For more news, do log on to starfm.com.gh. My name is Nadedi Tete. Thank you so much for your company. Have a good afternoon.